Swapping out your FutureShock suspension system for an FSD Slammer Kit is really simple, and I'll show you how to do it. So the first step is just to remove the existing FutureShock. Now if you have a FutureShock 2.0 like the demo unit here, you're going to take a 1.5mm Allen wrench and remove the adjustment screw at the top, like so. Now if you have a FutureShock 1.5 unit, you don't have an adjuster cap, you just have to unthread the top cap from the FutureShock cartridge, like so. And then take a non-marring plastic pry tool like this automotive trim panel remover and just get it under the clip on the side so that you can release the front panel from the duckbill cover. So. Now if you're using the short duckbill cover like this one, you can skip this step because it's all one piece. Now at this point you can use a 4mm Allen wrench to loosen up the pinch bolt on the side, just enough so that you can slide the FutureShock cartridge out. At this point you should also remove the duckbill cover and any spacers that you're using. And you can set the old FutureShock unit aside. Now if your bike came with a specific future stem that was designed to be used with the FutureShock system, you should note that a future stem will not fit on the FSD Slammer Kit, as the Slammer Kit uses a standard 1 1/8 inch diameter steer tube. So in other words, in order to use an FSD Slammer Kit, you need a standard stem. Now whether or not you're using a standard stem or the future stem, there may be a shim that we use between the stem and the FutureShock cartridge. It'll either be the thick shim that looks like this, or a thinner shim that looks like this. In either case, when installing an FSD Slammer Kit, you can do away with all the shims because again, the Slammer Kit uses a standard steer diameter. So when you order the Slammer Kit, you get a CNC machined 7075 T6 alloy cartridge that looks like this, along with the machined 6061 T6 alloy top cap that looks like this, which is anodized flat black. So to install the Slammer Kit, first thing you want to do is to install the Slammer cartridge into the stem until it stops. And then just cinch the stem down onto the Slammer cartridge, like so. Now at this point you can decide how slammed you want your stem. Again, you do have some adjustability here. The absolute lowest that you can slam your handlebars is to just install the Slammer Kit, along with the short plastic duckbill cap and no spacers like this. But to dial in your stack height, you can also mess around with different combinations of duckbill and headset spacers. Now just to note, the fork steer on a FutureShock equipped bike is still the proprietary diameter for the FutureShock, so again, standard headset spacers don't fit this system, and for that reason you still have to use the FutureShock specific headset spacers, which we also have available in our shop. These ones are machined from 6061 T6 alloy and they're anodized matte black, and each spacer has a height of 5mm. Now if you're using the short duckbill spacer, you can use up to a maximum of 15mm of spacers, which would look like this. But if you're using the tall duckbill spacer, you can only use up to a maximum of 2 5mm spacers underneath. So definitely feel free to mess around with different combinations here. You have some adjustability in your stack height. For this example here, we're just going to use one headset spacer and the short duckbill cover. Now because in this case this is an aluminum to carbon interface, it's always a good idea to smear a little bit of carbon grip paste in the fork steer. Now as you're installing the Slammer Kit, you want to make sure whatever duckbill you're using is lined up and sits in the grooved slot so that it's aligned. At this point you can go ahead and cinch down the collar. We'll do a final torque on this in just a sec. And then you can go ahead and install the included top cap for a nice finished look. Now one thing to note is that because the headset preload on the FutureShock systems is handled down below the stem, the top cap is actually purely decorative. Now the one that we supply is just a standard interference fit, but to remove it you might need something thin and non-marring, again like this plastic trim panel remover, to get underneath the top cap so that you can pull it out. Now the top caps were designed to fit nice and snug, so they won't come loose even if you're bombing through some rowdy terrain. But if you're finding that it's too tight to install, a really thin layer of grease around the O-rings will go a long way to ensure a nice snug fit without being too hard to install. Now in this case, even though all we did was remove the FutureShock cartridge and install a Slammer Kit, you still want to make sure to check the headset preload before you head out for your first ride. Now if you're unfamiliar with how to adjust the headset preload on a FutureShock system, you can click the link down in the description for a detailed video. Now once you've got your handlebars aligned how you like them, you definitely want to make sure to torque the collar to spec as well as your stem pinch bolts. The pinch collar will take 4 Nm. And for the stem pinch bolts, you should consult the stem manufacturer's recommendations. In this case here, for this Ritchie WCS stem, we're looking for 5 Nm. And that is how you install the FSD Slammer Kit. You now have the ability to go out for a ride in a more aerodynamic and aggressive riding position, while at the same time saving up to 200 grams. If you want more information on the FSD Slammer Kit, you can check the links down in the description. There's one link to another video that explains the FSD in greater detail, and another link will take you to the website where you can purchase one for yourself. If you have any other questions, just drop them down below. We'll do our best to get back to as many as we can. Thanks again for watching. Thanks for subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time.